Evelyn whispered to herself. I cannot believe she would be this late on Mother's Day, and a wave of unease washed over her as she carefully arranged the table with delicate china plates sparkling under the morning light and a vase of freshly cut tulips in the center there. Bright colors catching every ray of sunlight streaming through the living room window. She double-checked the handcrafted card she had written with her heart full of hope that today would bring a sense of closeness with her daughter-in-law Claire. She smoothed the linen tablecloth for the third time, making sure every fold was perfectly aligned and the silverware gleamed just right, while outside birds chirped oblivious to the tension building inside Evelyn's chest. She glanced at the clock and sighed, noticing the minute hand inching forward, yet Claire had not arrived, and every second felt heavier than the last. Evelyn's thoughts wandered to the many Mother's Days before, when family laughter had filled the house and the warmth of shared moments had made her feel complete. Now the quiet was almost deafening, but she refused to let it ruin her morning. She poured 2 cups of tea, carefully setting them on the table, one with a hint of lemon and the other with a sprig of mint, just the way she knew Claire liked, and then she took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves and maintain a smile. She rehearsed casual conversation topics in her mind, hoping to bridge the invisible distance she felt between them. Evelyn glanced at the neatly wrapped gift. She had spent weeks preparing, the ribbon tied with precision and the wrapping paper chosen to reflect Claire's favorite colors. She imagined the surprise on Claire's face when she opened it and how it could melt away the unspoken tension. At least Evelyn hoped so. She moved to the living room to straighten the throw pillows on the sofa and adjust the lighting to create a welcoming glow. As she did, she replayed in her mind the conversation she wanted to have about family traditions and memories that she longed to share this morning, yet every imagined scenario seemed fragile against the uncertainty of Claire's mood and behavior. Evelyn's hands trembled slightly as she arranged a small plate of scones on the side table, each piece carefully placed to look inviting and delicious. She stepped back to assess the room, the sunlight highlighting the meticulous details she had put into every corner, and thought how these gestures reflected her love and commitment to nurturing a bond that seemed to slip further away with each passing minute. She checked the clock again and felt a pang of worry mixed with anticipation. She told herself patience is key and tried to focus on the familiar comfort of her home. The gentle hum of the refrigerator and the soft tick of the clock offered a rhythm she could cling to, while she imagined Claire entering the front door any moment and the warmth of her smile softening the invisible barrier that had formed between them. Evelyn's heart raced as she smoothed her dress and took a moment to compose herself. Looking at the card once more, the words she had written flowing from her heart with sincerity, she whispered aloud, I hope today we can truly connect. And for a fleeting moment she allowed herself to imagine Claire's laughter filling the room, the tension dissolving as they shared tea and stories, catching up on life and family news. As the doorbell rang, Evelyn's eyes widened, her breath caught in her throat, and she moved toward the door with a mix of excitement and trepidation, ready to greet Claire, hoping that this Mother's Day could mark the beginning of a new chapter in their relationship, full of understanding, empathy and connection, with the unspoken wish that this day would be remembered not for distance but for the warmth of familial love and the possibility of rebuilding a bridge that had long been strained. Evelyn opened the door with a tentative smile, her heart fluttering as Claire stepped inside the familiar living room, bathed in warm morning light, and the scent of freshly brewed tea filled the air. Evelyn's eyes searched for any sign of hesitation or resentment on Claire's face, and she found a subtle softness that gave her hope. They moved toward each other slowly, the quiet between them carrying 1,000 unspoken words. Evelyn gestured toward the table where the tulips stood, vibrant and welcoming, and Claire nodded, acknowledging the effort with a slight smile that betrayed a mix of appreciation and guardedness. They settled into the chairs with teacups in hand, and Evelyn began to recount light-hearted stories from the past, including humorous mishaps at family gatherings and the small traditions she had cherished over the years. Claire listened intently, occasionally laughing or nodding, and Evelyn noticed the change in atmosphere. The tension that had clouded the morning seemed to lift incrementally as they shared memories. Evelyn carefully guided the conversation toward the thoughtful gift she had prepared and watched Claire's eyes widen slightly in genuine surprise, the beautifully wrapped present resting on her lap as Claire untied the ribbon and opened it. Evelyn observed the delicate expression of delight mixed with appreciation on her daughter-in-law's face. It was a quiet victory that bridged the emotional distance Evelyn had felt earlier. The air seemed lighter, the clinking of china and the faint aroma of scones creating a rhythm that was both comforting and familiar. As they sipped their tea, Evelyn asked about Claire's recent experiences, her voice warm and inviting, and Claire spoke about her daily routines at work, the small achievements and occasional frustrations she had encountered. Evelyn responded with encouragement and shared insights from her own experiences, subtly weaving lessons learned from years of family life. The conversation flowed more naturally than Evelyn had anticipated. They exchanged thoughts on managing busy schedules, balancing family obligations, and nurturing personal interests, and through it all Evelyn maintained a tone of empathy and understanding, allowing Claire to feel both heard and supported. At one point Claire shared a touching story about her own mother, and Evelyn listened attentively, offering thoughtful comments that acknowledged the depth of emotion conveyed. The afternoon sunlight shifted across the room, casting gentle shadows, and Evelyn felt a sense of accomplishment that they had created a space of genuine connection. She observed Claire reaching for a scone with a relaxed gesture and realized that the simple act of sharing this meal had softened the barriers that had kept them distant. Evelyn recounted a humorous anecdote about her son which elicited a hearty laugh from Claire, and the sound filled the room with warmth. It was a reminder of the shared bond that could exist between them despite past misunderstandings and subtle disagreements. The teacups now empty, they lingered in conversation, discussing future plans for family gatherings and ways to support one another through small acts of kindness and attention. Evelyn suggested a short walk around the garden to enjoy the fresh air and vibrant flowers, and Claire agreed. They moved slowly outside, taking in the subtle fragrances and the gentle sway of the tulips in the breeze, their conversation continuing comfortably. Evelyn felt a deep sense of fulfillment knowing that patience and genuine effort had transformed the morning from one of apprehension into a moment of meaningful connection that would linger in memory. The warmth of the sun mirrored the warmth building in their relationship, a quiet affirmation that family bonds could be nurtured with care, empathy, and thoughtful attention. Evelyn and Claire continued their conversation as the afternoon light shifted through the windows, illuminating the living room with a gentle golden glow. Evelyn felt a quiet anticipation as she watched Claire carefully examine the small handmade crafts displayed on the shelf, each piece holding memories and stories. Evelyn began to share the origins of the items, recounting moments when she had carefully selected or created them for family members and friends. Claire listened attentively, her expression softening with curiosity and appreciation. Evelyn noticed the subtle changes in her daughter-in-law's demeanor, the slight tilt of her head, the gentle smile that appeared when Evelyn described a humorous mishap during a family holiday gathering. It was these small signals that conveyed openness and willingness to connect. Evelyn offered Claire a delicate cup of chamomile tea and suggested they sit closer to the window to enjoy the view of the blooming garden outside. They moved to the sunlit corner, and the sound of birds chirping accompanied the warmth of the tea as they sipped slowly. Evelyn spoke about her hopes for maintaining strong family bonds through simple gestures and shared routines. Claire nodded understandingly and contributed by describing the small traditions she had continued in her own family, mentioning a handwritten letter she had received from her mother that had made a lasting impression. The conversation naturally evolved into discussing the upcoming Mother's Day dinner, and Evelyn asked Claire for her suggestions on menu choices and presentation details. Claire's eyes brightened with enthusiasm as she suggested a few creative ideas. Evelyn encouraged her input, noting that family meals were not just about food but about connection and presence. They reminisced about past celebrations, laughter occasionally punctuating the calm dialogue. Evelyn recounted a touching story of a previous Mother's Day when her grandson had carefully chosen flowers from the garden to give as a gift, and Claire shared a story of her own mother's thoughtful surprises. The exchange created a bridge between their experiences, reinforcing empathy and shared understanding. As the afternoon continued, Evelyn observed Claire's body language relaxing. She gestured naturally as she spoke and even offered to help organize a small section of the living room. Evelyn accepted her offer gratefully, noting that teamwork in these small moments often strengthened the sense of family cooperation. The sun began to lower, casting a warm hue over the room, and Evelyn suggested they take a short walk outside in the garden. The gentle breeze rustled the leaves, and Evelyn pointed out the new blooms, explaining their symbolism and significance. Claire responded with a genuine curiosity, asking questions and offering her observations on colors and shapes. Evelyn felt a sense of accomplishment witnessing the authentic engagement and willingness to participate in family life. The conversation meandered from garden care to planning small activities for children during the summer. The laughter became more frequent and the exchange of ideas more fluid. Evelyn reflected on the patience and care it had taken to reach this point. The initial tension had given way to a sense of mutual respect and curiosity, both women contributing equally to the dialogue. They returned inside and continued their discussion over freshly baked scones, the aroma filling the room. Evelyn noticed that Claire had begun to share her own personal stories freely without hesitation, and she responded with encouragement, validating her experiences. The warmth of the room, the aroma of tea and scones, and the shared laughter all coalesced into a peaceful and meaningful connection. It was a moment of genuine family understanding and growth, each story shared and each gesture of thoughtfulness reinforcing the bond between Evelyn and Claire, a connection that would carry forward in future interactions with increased empathy and mutual support. The evening light filtered through the dining room windows, casting a soft glow over the carefully set table. Evelyn and Claire continued their preparations for Mother's Day dinner, the atmosphere charged with a mix of anticipation and tentative camaraderie. Evelyn arranged fresh flowers in a simple but elegant vase, noting the delicate balance of colors, while Claire adjusted the placement of cutlery and napkins. She glanced at Evelyn occasionally, her expression thoughtful, as if measuring the right moment to speak. Evelyn broke the quiet with a story from her past, describing a memorable Mother's Day when her own mother had surprised her with a handwritten note tucked into a teacup. She recounted the details vividly, the warmth in her voice bringing the scene to life. Claire listened intently, nodding occasionally and responding with her own anecdote about her mother's meticulous planning and the small gestures that had always made holidays feel special. The two women shared a laugh over a minor mishap involving a toppled stack of plates, and in that moment the tension that had lingered between them seemed to soften. Evelyn noticed the subtle relaxation in Claire's posture and the ease with which she began to contribute ideas, suggesting small adjustments to the table setting or proposing a slight rearrangement of the chairs to improve the flow of conversation. She spoke with confidence tempered by consideration. Evelyn encouraged her input, emphasizing that the collaboration was meant to honor the spirit of the day rather than any strict formalities. As they continued working together, they reflected on the values they hoped to instill in their family, the importance of empathy, respect, and active participation in shared experiences. Evelyn remarked on how simple acts of thoughtfulness often carried more weight than grand gestures. Claire agreed, noting that these small moments created lasting memories. The conversation then shifted to planning activities for the children during dinner. From selecting topics of conversation to suggesting simple games that would engage everyone, Evelyn observed Claire's enthusiasm grow as she proposed a few interactive ideas that balanced fun with inclusivity. They decided to prepare a small craft activity using materials readily available in the house. Evelyn guided Claire through setting up the materials, explaining the purpose behind each item, while Claire followed carefully, making suggestions along the way. The dynamic between them evolved into a seamless rhythm of cooperation, punctuated by laughter and occasional thoughtful pauses. Evelyn felt a sense of satisfaction watching Claire's natural leadership qualities emerge and the way she considered each detail with both creativity and practicality. The aroma of freshly baked bread filled the room, mingling with the scent of the flowers and the warmth from the oven, creating an inviting ambience. Evelyn and Claire shared quiet moments, sipping tea and observing the soft twilight outside the windows. The conversation meandered to reflections on family traditions, how they had changed over time, and the ways each person contributed uniquely to maintaining continuity. The dialogue was rich with acknowledgement of past experiences and hopes for the future. Each story told and each suggestion made strengthened their connection, transforming a previously awkward relationship into one of mutual respect and genuine interest. Evelyn noticed Claire's confidence and openness growing, and she responded with encouragement, validating her contributions and emphasizing the value of collaboration. They spent the remainder of the afternoon finalizing preparations for dinner, ensuring every detail was attended to while sharing insights and stories that deepened their understanding of one another. The room resonated with a warm sense of purpose and shared commitment to making the day meaningful and memorable for the entire family. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, the soft golden light bathed the living room where Evelyn and Claire were completing the final touches for Mother's Day dinner. The air was filled with the mingling scents of baked goods, fresh flowers, and brewed coffee. Evelyn carefully placed a homemade centerpiece in the middle of the dining table, its vibrant colors contrasting beautifully with the polished wooden surface. Claire stepped back to observe her work, her expression a mix of pride and anticipation. She adjusted a few napkins and utensils, ensuring perfect alignment, while Evelyn offered gentle suggestions, refining the layout together. They laughed softly over minor imperfections, noting that the goal was warmth and connection rather than perfection. Their conversation turned to the day's schedule, from welcoming family members to coordinating meals and seating arrangements. They discussed ways to engage each guest, keeping the children entertained while also allowing the adults to converse Comfortably, Evelyn shared stories about past Mother's Day celebrations, emphasizing the importance of listening to each person's preferences and needs. Claire responded with her own reflections, highlighting the subtle ways in which small gestures had shaped her family's experiences. The dialogue created a rhythm of mutual respect and understanding, bridging the gap that had existed between them earlier. The clock ticked steadily as they moved from room to room, preparing desserts, arranging floral displays, and reviewing seating charts, each action deliberate yet infused with the joy of anticipation. Evelyn noticed Claire's gentle guidance and thoughtful attention to detail, admiring how naturally she balanced practical considerations with creative ideas. The warmth of their collaboration transformed the space, making it inviting and welcoming. A sense of calm determination settled over them, and the tension that had subtly lingered before melted into quiet confidence. They rehearsed the sequence of events, from greeting family members to serving appetizers, discussing contingencies for minor mishaps such as a spilled drink or an unexpected request. Claire contributed ideas with confidence and poise, while Evelyn offered encouragement, validating her suggestions. The synergy between them grew stronger with each shared task and conversation. As they worked, Evelyn reflected on the lessons of patience, empathy, and adaptability that had guided her own experiences in family dynamics. She observed Claire internalizing these lessons in her own way, applying them thoughtfully to the present preparations. The afternoon progressed with measured steps, punctuated by moments of light-hearted laughter. Evelyn and Claire shared stories from their own childhoods, recalling favorite dishes, traditions, and meaningful interactions, each anecdote fostering connection and understanding. The room seemed to hum with anticipation and warmth as the family members began to arrive, bringing with them greetings, laughter, and the vibrant energy of a gathering intended to celebrate togetherness. Evelyn and Claire moved seamlessly among their guests, welcoming each person, personally attending to small needs and adjusting plans as necessary. The coordinated effort reflected their commitment to creating a meaningful and memorable occasion. They continued to observe each other's responses and gestures, refining their approach to hospitality in real time. The mutual respect and cooperation between them was evident in every action, from the careful placement of dishes to the attentiveness to guests' comfort. The shared objective of nurturing family bonds guided every decision, reinforcing the emotional resonance of the day and creating an environment that was both joyful and deeply considerate. As the evening unfolded, Evelyn and Claire found themselves working in quiet harmony, their previous hesitations replaced by a confident fluidity that allowed them to anticipate each other's moves and complement one another's strengths. The atmosphere radiated warmth, connection, and thoughtful celebration of family values, creating lasting memories for all who participated in the gathering. As the evening settled and a gentle hush filled the house, Evelyn and Claire moved through the softly lit rooms, ensuring that every detail reflected the warmth and care they had invested throughout the day. The living room glowed with the golden light of candles, and the soft hum of conversation from the guests created a serene atmosphere that encouraged reflection and connection. Evelyn observed Claire arranging the last touches on the dessert table, noticing how attentively she aligned each plate and garnish. Her eyes conveyed a quiet satisfaction and pride in the work they had accomplished together. Claire paused to meet Evelyn's gaze and offered a small smile, acknowledging their shared effort and the mutual understanding that had grown between them throughout the day. The children played quietly in a corner under the watchful eye of an older cousin, their laughter adding a lively yet comforting background. As Evelyn moved to check on the seating arrangement at the dining table, she made subtle adjustments to the chairs and napkins, ensuring that everyone felt included and comfortable. The process was deliberate but infused with a lighthearted energy. As Claire joined her to discuss minor changes and contingencies, they spoke in soft tones, exchanging ideas about how to accommodate late arrivals or unexpected preferences. The coordination reflected not only their organizational skills but also the depth of their collaboration and the respect they had cultivated for each other's perspectives. The family members gradually gathered around the table, each offering smiles and greetings. Evelyn and Claire guided them gently, helping them to their seats and engaging in brief but warm exchanges that highlighted attentiveness and thoughtfulness. Their interactions demonstrated the value of empathy and consideration in creating a welcoming environment. The room became animated with polite conversation, the clinking of cutlery, and the aroma of freshly prepared dishes combining to create a sensory tapestry that embodied the essence of the celebration. Evelyn took a moment to observe Claire interacting with a visiting aunt, noting her ease and genuine warmth in responding to questions and gestures of appreciation. It was evident that Claire had absorbed not only practical skills but also the subtleties of hosting with grace and authenticity. The evening unfolded with a series of coordinated actions, each seamlessly transitioning into the next, from serving appetizers to passing side dishes and ensuring everyone's needs were met. Evelyn and Claire anticipated one another's moves and responded intuitively to the flow of the gathering. Their partnership created a rhythm of quiet efficiency and attentiveness that permeated every corner of the room. As the meal progressed, Evelyn reflected on the journey from initial tension and uncertainty to the present harmony. The day had been a testament to patience, communication, and mutual respect. She noticed the small gestures of care Claire exhibited toward each guest, from refilling drinks to engaging in meaningful conversation, reinforcing a sense of connection and appreciation. The atmosphere was rich with the unspoken acknowledgement of these efforts. The final moments of the evening were marked by expressions of gratitude and satisfaction as guests complimented the thoughtful arrangements and the warm ambience. Evelyn and Claire exchanged a brief glance of quiet triumph, their shared dedication having resulted in an experience that was both memorable and emotionally fulfilling. The evening concluded with a sense of accomplishment and serenity, the household settling into a calm, reflective state where the successes of the day and the bonds strengthened through attentive care lingered, creating lasting impressions of connection, love, and attentive presence that would be remembered long after the celebration ended. The morning after the celebration brought a quiet calm over the house. Sunlight streamed through the windows, casting soft patterns across the living room floor. Evelyn moved with deliberate care, preparing breakfast. The smell of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the warm scent of toasted bread and scrambled eggs. She noticed Claire entering the kitchen with a gentle smile. The atmosphere was relaxed yet charged with an underlying awareness of unspoken emotions from the previous night. They exchanged greetings and brief remarks about the weather and the day ahead, but beneath the surface lay a subtle tension. Evelyn sensed the hesitation in Claire's movements and the fleeting glances that conveyed a quiet distance. The children played nearby building blocks and, drawing quietly on the dining table, their laughter punctuated the silence, offering intermittent relief from the intensity of adult interactions. Evelyn chose to address the situation with tact. She prepared plates and poured juice while engaging Claire in light conversation, asking for her opinion on menu choices and subtle details of the day's plan. Claire responded with measured enthusiasm, her expressions polite but reserved, indicating a reluctance to fully engage in familiar patterns of warmth and collaboration. The conversation shifted toward shared responsibilities for household tasks and upcoming family obligations. They discussed errands and schedules, and although the dialogue was practical, it carried undercurrents of negotiation and boundary setting. Evelyn observed Claire carefully. She noted the balance between cooperation and personal space and adjusted her approach accordingly to maintain harmony while asserting necessary involvement. The morning unfolded with a sequence of actions that highlighted the subtle dynamics of cohabitation and mutual respect. Claire assisted with setting the table and tidying the kitchen, yet kept a professional distance in her demeanor. Evelyn responded with patience, acknowledging each contribution without pressing for emotional intimacy. This balance created a rhythm of interaction that was simultaneously cooperative and cautious. They moved through the house, coordinating activities with minimal friction yet with awareness of each other's unspoken needs. The children's curiosity prompted small interludes of engagement as Evelyn and Claire explained routines and shared gentle guidance, maintaining a consistent tone of encouragement and attentiveness. The day's sunlight grew brighter as they transitioned to planning for a family outing. Invitations and logistical considerations required careful discussion. Evelyn and Claire mapped out the timing and transportation options, each contributing ideas and assessing feasibility. Their collaboration reflected an evolving understanding of shared goals and the practical aspects of managing family life while navigating complex interpersonal dynamics. The afternoon brought a brief moment of reflection as they paused to sip tea and observe the children's play. The scene captured a blend of warmth, strategy, and mutual observation. The dialogue between Evelyn and Claire remained constructive, with subtle undertones of negotiation that highlighted the importance of empathy, patience, and attentiveness in sustaining relationships under evolving circumstances. The day continued with structured activities including meal preparations, household organization, and scheduling errands. Each action underscored the integration of personal responsibility and cooperative engagement. The interactions maintained a careful equilibrium where respect and consideration guided behavior, creating a sense of continuity and stability that both reinforced family bonds and acknowledged individual boundaries. The evening approached with a sense of accomplishment for tasks completed and plans effectively coordinated. Evelyn and Claire shared a quiet conversation reflecting on successes and challenges. The tone was measured and thoughtful. The atmosphere conveyed a growing recognition of each other's perspectives and capacities for contribution, a mutual understanding solidifying without need for overt declarations. Their collaboration had evolved into a nuanced balance of support, recognition, and quiet respect that promised a sustainable pattern for future interactions and family cohesion. As the afternoon sunlight streamed through the windows, Evelyn and Claire found themselves arranging the living room for a family gathering. The atmosphere was lively yet filled with a subtle undercurrent of anticipation. Both moved with purpose, coordinating decorations and seating arrangements while the children added their own playful touches that brought warmth and spontaneity to the scene. Evelyn spoke with gentle guidance, offering suggestions and observing Claire's responses. Claire contributed thoughtfully, her movements precise and considerate, reflecting her desire to balance helpfulness with personal boundaries. The dialogue flowed easily, though layered with subtext, as Evelyn navigated topics ranging from meal preparations to seating plans. Claire responded with measured attentiveness, providing input and adjusting details based on Evelyn's cues. The two shared moments of laughter over minor mishaps and the children's imaginative antics, which eased tension and reinforced a sense of shared purpose. The afternoon progressed with practical tasks blending seamlessly with moments of personal connection. Evelyn encouraged Claire to express opinions on family routines and logistics, fostering an environment of collaboration. The discussion included the coordination of schedules, menu options, and entertainment choices for the gathering, ensuring that each decision reflected both practicality and sensitivity to individual preferences. The children's curiosity prompted short educational interludes where Evelyn and Claire guided them through small projects and explained family traditions, reinforcing values of cooperation, learning, and creativity. Each interaction emphasized patience, understanding, and mutual respect while maintaining structured routines. The sun lowered toward the horizon, casting a warm glow over the room and highlighting the thoughtful expressions on both Evelyn's and Claire's faces. The shared experience nurtured a subtle yet meaningful bond as they observed each other's strengths and navigated minor disagreements with tact and care. The dialogue remained constructive even when minor differences in perspective emerged, each resolved with attentiveness to tone and intention, ensuring that no feelings were dismissed or overlooked. The planning of the evening's activities included a review of guest arrivals, table arrangements, and coordination of responsibilities, creating a rhythm of anticipation and preparation that engaged both adults and children without inducing stress or friction. Evelyn and Claire discussed strategies for engaging guests, managing the flow of conversation, and responding to spontaneous developments, demonstrating adaptive thinking and cooperative problem-solving. The children's excitement for the upcoming gathering was met with encouragement and gentle supervision, blending enjoyment with learning about consideration and participation. The evening's approach carried a sense of satisfaction for the preparation completed and an awareness of the harmonious dynamic fostered through careful communication. The shared responsibility and thoughtful planning highlighted the evolving relationship between Evelyn and Claire, emphasizing trust, patience, and a mutual commitment to family well-being. As the final details were arranged and the room readied for guests, both felt a quiet sense of accomplishment and anticipation for the interactions to come. A balance of personal expression, collaborative planning, and sensitivity to family dynamics ensured that the gathering would proceed smoothly. The afternoon concluded with reflective pauses where both considered the unfolding of events, reinforcing the importance of empathy, attentiveness, and shared values in creating a supportive and joyful family environment. The evening had settled into a calm and cozy rhythm as Evelyn and Claire reflected on the day's events while the children played quietly in a corner. The atmosphere was filled with the soft hum of conversation and laughter from guests who had arrived for the family gathering. Both women moved through the room with composed attentiveness, ensuring everyone felt welcomed and comfortable. Evelyn observed the interactions around her, offering gentle prompts to engage the children in conversation and guiding guests to seats with warmth and consideration. Claire complemented these efforts, her presence steady and thoughtful. She anticipated needs, adjusted small details, and facilitated smooth exchanges without drawing overt attention to herself. Their combined attentiveness created an environment of harmony and ease, allowing each guest to feel included and appreciated. The night unfolded with natural transitions between dining, casual conversation, and shared activities that highlighted familial bonds and traditions. Evelyn and Claire worked in tandem, coordinating tasks such as refilling drinks, serving snacks, and guiding the children in simple games while allowing spontaneity and enjoyment to flourish. The dialogue among guests and family members was light-hearted yet meaningful, often prompted by Evelyn's gentle encouragement and Claire's observant insights, fostering connections and bridging any gaps in familiarity. The children's laughter and curiosity interjected with moments of joy and learning as both women responded with patience and guidance, maintaining structure without limiting fun through the evening. Subtle interactions reinforced the evolving relationship between Evelyn and Claire. Moments of eye contact, shared smiles, and quiet acknowledgements reflected mutual respect, trust, and appreciation for each other's contributions. Minor challenges arose, such as coordinating seating preferences or adjusting the timing of planned activities. Both navigated these situations with tact and flexibility, ensuring resolutions respected everyone's comfort and preferences. The progression of the evening showcased cooperative problem-solving and attentive communication skills as Evelyn and Claire balanced responsibilities with social engagement and emotional awareness. Each task and conversation emphasized mindfulness, empathy, and the nurturing of family connections. As the final portions of the gathering approached, both women coordinated a light dessert service, shared stories of past family events, and guided the children in expressing gratitude and reflection. The atmosphere remained warm, inclusive, and joyful as the group collectively celebrated presence, participation, and shared memories. The day's experiences highlighted the harmony achievable through collaboration, patience, and understanding. The closing moments were marked by gentle farewells, expressions of appreciation, and quiet reflection on the significance of togetherness. Evelyn and Claire shared a brief moment alone, reviewing the evening, acknowledging each other's efforts, and appreciating the seamless blend of structure, flexibility, and interpersonal sensitivity that had shaped the day. The night concluded with a serene sense of accomplishment, strengthened bonds, and the comforting knowledge that their combined attentiveness and care had cultivated a memorable, harmonious, and meaningful family experience.